Well, it's day 37 of my COVID quarantine in Alabama, and I thought after 37 in the good days of the cooler, like Steve McQueen was in The Great Escape, thank you, Netflix, um, I would make a video about what's going on in my life. So let me introduce myself. I'm a normal middle-aged Indian man, guy you could have grown up next door to if you happen to have grown up in Mumbai. Otherwise, I'm just like any other Indian guy. There's 700 million of us on the planet, so it should not be too hard to find one of us. I am a chemical engineer by education. I have to give credit to my father for that. See, he was like most typical dads looking out for his kids, and but there are some subtle differences between Indian dads and American dads. For example, I remember going to a friend's house when I was a senior in high school, and so was he. And my friend's father asked him, "Son, what do you want to be when you grow up?" My dad gave me the same thing. He asked me the same question. He's like, "Son, what kind of engineer would you like to be when you grow up?" So I had a choice, just like my friend did. However, one day I decided to ask my dad if he really wanted me, what if I didn't want to be an engineer? And he said, "You can always do computer science, or you can go into medicine." So he had an answer for that too. I ended up going to college in upstate New York, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. The ratio over there was advertised ratio was 5 to 1, which, come on, I would have had better luck in the House of Representatives or the Senate. As it turns out, even that was a lie because the ratio was 5 men for every 1 woman. But if you got down to the numbers, it was actually 7 men for every straight woman. So I did what any normal-blooded American or Indian man would do. I tried to transfer. Didn't work. So I was at RPI for 4 years, did chemical engineering. I actually ended up learning how to bartend, DJ, and do stand-up comedy on the side, just so I could meet people. After all of that, I graduated. Oh, one funny story I do have from RPI. So RPI stands for Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. However, in India, Polytechnic is the same as community college. So to my grandmother, when I told her I went to RPI, she was like, "So does our bus driver. So does the servant who comes and cleans the house. What are you going to do with your life?" So, God rest her soul, but she didn't have much faith in my education. Uh, I cannot talk about the next 23 years of my life. You see, in 1995, I was captured and became a prisoner of war, exiled from my life for the next 23 years in the land of marriage, and forced to obtain citizenship in this new land too. And due to the restrictions placed by the ruler of this land, her lawyers have informed me that I'm not allowed to speak about my 23 years of internment. Suffice it to say, a couple of years ago, I did start to negotiate my release, and I will be paying for my citizenship exit from this country for the next few years. But let's not dwell on the past. Let's talk about what's going on in my life now. I have 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. My daughter's 22 now. My son's 24 and 20. And as every dad does with his kids, I spoil my daughter rotten and leave my sons to fend for themselves. I remember a story from when she was about 6 years old. The entire family was sitting at the airport waiting to take a flight. I don't even remember where. Um, and she very innocently asked me, "Dad, are we sitting in front of the curtain or behind the curtain?" I said, "Kamya, we are sitting in front of the curtain." I had plenty of frequent flyer mileage from my travels. So I told her, "Yes, Kamya, we're sitting in front of the curtain." She's like, "Good, Dad, because I don't like to sit behind the curtain. I think it's just not the right thing." I'm like, "Kamya, no one likes to sit behind the curtain. They do it because they have to, okay?" So right then, I should have been aware of the fact that my daughter was not exactly used to the she'd actually gotten used to the finer things in life. Then a few years ago, when she had been in college for about a year, I was having a conversation with her. She was home for the summer, and she told me, "Dad, what if I bring home this kind of guy or this kind of a guy? What do you think?" I said, "Kamya, you can bring home anyone you want. I have no objection. You can bring home anyone you want." She goes, "Dad, That is such a good thing. I'm so proud to hear that. You're so open-minded. I said, I'm not finished. I said, you can bring home anyone you want. I have no objection. Whether they leave, that's a different story. I don't have 5 acres in the back, a rifle, a shovel, and 5 pounds of line in the garage for your viewing pleasure. They do serve some purpose. So it's been 3 years since that statement, since I had the conversation with her. I have not met any of her boyfriends, so I choose to believe the fact that she doesn't have any. That illusion too was cut short for me last Thanksgiving. See, over Thanksgiving, she dropped the bomb on me saying that she had a boyfriend. I was like, okay. And just like any good father, I asked for his picture, his name, his address, his social security number. That did he have a do not resuscitate order, or would I have to draw up one for him? Just the normal things a dad would do. She sent me his picture, and I took one look at the picture, and I realized how large of a dupe I'd been being. She had been dating this guy for at least a year, because the picture she sent me of the two of them was from our Christmas party the year before. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, minimum 11 months that she's been seeing him. So to my defense, she was in Virginia and I was in Kansas. So now I've been here in Alabama for about 3 months, and I've learned some interesting things. Like, for example, did you know that raccoons in Alabama are called trash pandas? If you don't know why, the joke's lost in you. And there's apparently two national anthems here. The one national anthem, which is also known in the 49 other states, and a song by Leonard Skinner called Sweet Home Alabama. I have seen grown men stand up, take off their hats, and cry to this song. Sometimes a little bit more than the national anthem itself. Also, there's some changes, differences in the way people talk down here. For example, every sentence down here, talking to anyone from here, starts out the same way. As an example, someone at work, hey Earl, how's your weekend? How you doing? Shit, I ain't never been better. Maybe it's just an Alabama thing, but every sentence, shit. And now we've got the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus, whatever you want to call it. And it's made me think about how different life is. So, for example, do you think that we're now living in some agrophobe's dream? Right? Isn't this like a paradise for agrophobes? Like, guess what, guys? Now you get to see everything that I have been going through my entire life.